Kom ons kyk gou-gou in die video na synonieme en antonieme. So synonyms and antonyms. So it works exactly the same as in Afrikaans. Synonyms comes from the word similar, and antonyms, think about anti. So anti means against. So if you say I am anti-war, then it means that you're against war. Silly example, but it's like every time I have to make an example, I'm suddenly just like blank. All right, so that is, so anti is against, so that's how you can remember that the antonyms are the opposites. So I'm just going to look here at a couple. Here we've got idle. So idle basically means, like if a car is idling, I don't know if you know the term, but it basically means lazy. So the synonym is lazy. We can also say it's inactive. Let me find my insert boxy thing. There we go. We can also say inactive. And then the antonym, so the opposite is active. Okay, so a text, like you send somebody a text, is also a synonym for message. So I'm sending you a message. Sometimes people say a text message. And then here we've got annoyed. So another word for annoyed is irritated. And then the antonym for that is please. But please as in it's used as a verb, where you can say it pleases me. So it makes me happy. I am glad. Okay, so that would be the opposite, the antonym of annoyed or irritated. And then we've got result or outcome is the same thing. So we can do a science experiment and say, what is the result? Or we can say, what is the outcome? That one doesn't have a specific antonym that I could think of. And then goal. What are your long-term goals? So that can also be, what is the aim? So what is the aim of doing something? What is your goal? And the antonym for that is aimless. So it doesn't have a point. It doesn't have a goal. And then we've got trip. So trip is the same as a journey. So we're taking a road trip or we're going on a journey. And then I've got here valuable. So if something is valuable, then it is worthy. Or it's like worth a lot, worthy. Worthly, worthy, same thing. Just a different part of speech. And then the opposite of that is worthless. And I've got here return. So you return home or you go back home. And the opposite of that is you go or you leave. So I want to just add leave there because that is another one. Leave. Okay, then profit. So the business is making a profit. The opposite of that is the business is making a loss. Or I can say let's say he profits from the situation, which basically means he gets an advantage out of the situation. And then having an advantage, the opposite is losing. So we've got loss or lose. Here we've got complete. Did you complete your homework? Did you finish your homework? No, my homework is incomplete. Okay, so that would be the antonym. And then here we've got strong or powerful is a synonym. And then the opposite for that is weak. And hard and soft are opposites. But hard can also be a synonym for easy. For difficult. Sorry, I'm thinking the opposite now. It can also mean difficult. The test was really hard, so it was difficult. And then the antonym can also be easy. So it just depends on the context in which it's used in the sentence. All right, now what I want to look at now is a couple of prefixes and suffixes. So we're going to start with that, but I'm going to first look at the ones that makes antonyms. So if you see here we've got inactive and active. So this is a prefix. Here we've got aim and aimless. So less is a suffix. And worthless or incomplete. So these are basically making synonyms and antonyms or antonyms by putting a prefix or a suffix. So let's look at the prefixes and specifically the ones that makes opposites. Okay, so the first one here is anti. Remember I said the word antonym comes from the word anti. So anti is a prefix that makes an antonym. So social, antisocial. We've got gravity, anti-gravity. So these parts, gravity, anti-gravity. Biotic, so biotic means life. Antibiotic literally means against life because it kills the viruses and the bacteria, actually, the bacteria that makes you sick. We've got a depressant is something that makes you depressed. So an antidepressant is the antonym, it's the opposite. It's against depression, so it makes you happy. And then freeze, you know what that means. And then antifreeze is the opposite, the antonym. Okay, so the same with dis. Dis is also a prefix that makes antonyms. So we've got like, dislike, honest, dishonest. That one doesn't work like that. Agree, disagree. Appear, disappear. Then in. In means not. So it also gives us an opposite. Correct, incorrect. Accurate, inaccurate. Adequate, which means dis goed genoeg. Adequate. Inadequate. Ability, inability. Complete, incomplete. Then this one here as well, miss. So miss basically means wrong. So it also makes antonyms. Interpret, misinterpret. So I interpret it wrong. Fire, so it's like if you shoot a gun, you fire the gun. A misfire is if it doesn't work, it doesn't fire. And then understood, I understand my work. Ooh, I misunderstood that question. Conduct is misconduct. So conduct is basically, wat is nou in Afrikaans? Ek kan nie aan die woord dink nie. Maar dit is optree. En dan tree jy verkeerd op. So conduct, misconduct. Then let's go a little bit down here. We've got non, not, without. You're talking a lot of sense. Nah, he's talking nonsense. Entity, So entity is like a living thing. Non-entity is just the opposite. Descript, like describing. Nondescript, there's nothing I can describe. So that you'd usually use to describe a person, you'd say, like let's say I ask you, what did that man look like? And you say, I don't know, he was completely nondescript. Like you can't think of anything to describe him. Then we've got active, so we can say non-active, or we can say inactive. And then existent, it does exist. Non-existent, it doesn't exist at all. Okay, then un also means not, so it's also antonyms. Finished, unfinished. Friendly, unfriendly. Done, undone. Known, unknown. Like, unlike. So in this case, just want to go to this one. Where is it? Like and dislike is, I like pizza. Or, nah, I dislike pizza. Or, but this one is like, as in two things that's the same. So, these two are alike, so dis dieselfde, but those two things are unlike. Dit is nie dieselfde nie. And then we also have X. No, that's not really an antonym. Yeah, so those are all the prefixes that makes antonyms. So if you sit in your exam and you need to give antonyms for things, try to think of prefixes that might make it an antonym. And otherwise, think of a synonym for the word. Like, for example, what we had here. Okay, let me add one here then, because that would be a good example. So here we said profit, and now you have to think of an opposite, and you're like, ooh, I don't know, I can't. Profitless, that could work maybe, but and you can't think of one that's going to work. Then think of a synonym for profit. So advantage, you can say disadvantage, which is the opposite of advantage, but advantage and profit's the same, so it's also the opposite of profit. The same here with finish. You're like, ooh, finish, like, and you're thinking of, he didn't finish the race, did you finish your homework? And you're just like, I have no idea. Then think about a synonym for finish. So the synonym for finish is complete, and the antonym for complete is incomplete. So the antonym for finish is also incomplete. I hope that makes sense. But that's just like a way that you can think about, like if you get stuck and you're like, oh, I have no idea what the opposite of this word is. Just a couple of tricks that can help you find one. Okay, then I quickly want to look at suffixes that makes antonyms. So let's start with let's see, what have we got here? Yeah, the only one I can think about is less. So they also make opposites. So it's meaning, meaningless. So without. So it has meaning, it doesn't have meaning. Or you have hope, you don't have hope. So hope, hopeless. Meaning, meaningless. Home, I have a home, or homeless, you don't have a home. mind, you've got a mind, or you're mindful of something, and mindless, you're just not thinking about it at all. And then spot, ooh, I've got a spot on my clothes. My clothes are spotless. All right, so those are all adjectives, suffixes that makes antonyms. So I'm still going to write it here at the bottom. Antonyms. Okay, oopsie. That's I. All right. So I think I'm going to leave it there because those prefixes and suffixes fit with the synonyms and antonyms. And then in the next video, we'll look at the other synonyms and antonyms. My brain. I was saying in the next video, we'll look at other prefixes and suffixes. Bye.